Yeah.
So then after that, I remember coming around on Lincoln, right, when we were in Prince Paul's apartment.
Right.
And you took that journey, and we were from the apartment to the backyard,
yeah,
the courtyard to
the park, yeah,
to Emah Sarah's basement.
Yeah.
How was that? How do you remember that? How was that little time for you?
Well, as you know, I was consistently there. I was one of the first faces you met.
Right.
When you came in the door, first face that a lot of people met, because I was just there. You know what I'm saying? I was, at the young age, just being consistently loyal, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because I was exposed to all the fights, all the separations, trying to get things together. I saw a lot of people come and go. I saw the real, I saw the fake, you know what I mean? So you just see a lot of that in transition, and you can see all of the next step. And it's good that you're able to endure it, but it's still painful in a way because a lot of good people are not here no more. A lot of separation happened, but it's our experience, is what we had to deal with, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't change it because, we were in the park and we had to deal with, people may curse us out because we're saying something, but at the same time, you're in the park and teaching and people listening to you. You know what I mean? So that was a great thing. When you go to the basement, we had a place, thank God for Emah Sarah for opening it up. And this was even at a time where she wasn't too agreeable with this way of life. You know what I mean? She wasn't against it, but she wasn't coming to services, but she still opened up her doors, you know what I mean, for us. And bless us with a place to consistently have teachings. And then, from there, I remember even being in the house. We was at Prince Yisrael house at one time. Prince of Paul's house, then consistently Prince of Paul's house. So we needed to have an alternate because, he opened up his house and then, Emah Sarah opened up her house. But we had to get a place, you know what I mean, to really make this happen,
right.
And that happened brief, but it happened on St. John's in Nostrand, when B'nai Zaken opened up,
right,
in the early 90s.
And what was that experience like?
To be honest with you, I think that some of us were ready and some of us weren't. I think that sometimes you have to make sure that you know who you're working with, and there's nothing wrong with understanding where people are with certain things. I think oftentimes what we do is, we try to get together for the sake that we all Israel, but we all don't see things the same. So knowing that, you have to talk. You have to have a humble spirit because this is not about you, it's about the people. Now, granted, we were so happy to be there. It was cool. The congregation started to grow. But those things that we didn't put in check came back to haunt us. And it caused a lot of separation and problems. So it was a smart thing that a lot of brothers decided to make a move. You know what I mean? It wasn't because of a lack of love of people, but we know that, there was a mission, and that's at that time I was trying to work. I was getting a lot of brothers through tech, you know what I mean? Just teaching. My brother, I think he's a chief now, Y.O.Y, Ben Yehuda, came from tech, and he was talking to brothers, and a lot of brothers from tech started just coming through. You know what I mean? And then, the impression that we were making, it had to be a positive impression because, people coming back to their families, stuff like that, you got to have the right representation of the Most High. And I think that some of us were ready for that and some of us wasn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that part, being up there and then seeing you come through with some brothers and then bringing a bunch of other brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a blessing to see that some of those brothers are still around.
Amen.
20 years later, still doing Torah, strong brothers. And that in itself, I think you even brought a teacher at one point. Doing Torah.
Yeah, a teacher. He was
It was the Black Study Club, right?
No, we actually started. I was the president. I started as the vice president of the Black Awareness Club in Tech.
The Black Awareness. Right?
Yeah, and then I was president the next year, my senior year. But there was an organization started by a brother named Gerald Carey. You know, I think his parents were African too.
Right.
But he wanted to start something to, you know, help mentor and motivate, you know, young black males. And it was called Keepers of the Brotherhood. Right. And, you know, you always need an advisor, a teacher, somebody that can be a part of it. And at the time, Mr. McCullum, you know, he was a physics teacher, I believe, in the school, in Tech. And he was the one that decided to be the advisor, whatever the case may be. And he was getting heavy in the scripture. He started learning about himself, knowing that he was an Israelite, but he was going towards the 125 way, you know. So, and I was what I was, you know. We weren't with the New Testament. Right. So, with that, brothers started coming. I started teaching a group of brothers, but then, you know, I couldn't be in charge of KOB after Gerald Carey left because I had my plate full with Black Awareness. You know, so Uriah was in charge of that, you know what I mean? And he became very good at it with teaching scriptures. Like, as soon as he came to teachings, his mind was blown, you know what I mean? After hearing Deuteronomy 28, and he came back just teaching that same information, you know what I mean? And everybody he was talking to, they gravitated to it, you know what I mean? So, and I was sitting in the classes when he was teaching, I was impressed, you know what I mean? So, but me and Mr. McCullum had a talk, and he was like, well, you know, what's the problem with those brothers and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. I said, listen, you know, and at that time it was real, you know, that's the time that we were being threatened. They was talking about year 2000, they're going to kill us, and the UFOs are going to come, and all types of stuff, and Christ is going to come back and kill all you rebels and stuff like that, whatever. And, you know, we had proof of them cursing out old ladies in the street and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, this is not what represents the Most High. So, and I told him about that. I said, you know, we got to represent Yah in the right manner. So if we don't represent him to the highest extent, then he won't bless us at all. So he took that and he was like, you're right. You know what I mean? And then I got further as far as showing him in the New Testament, you know, the level of contradictions and how it's impossible to believe in that and be a Torah keeper at the same time. So, yeah, he understood. And he came through. Yeah.
The Y.O.Y.
Y.O.Y.
What do you remember about the Y.O.Y?
So,
what did it stand for?
Y.O.Y. stood for the youth for Yakad, right? Because we were B'nai Zaken Yachad. Right. Yakad meaning unity, right? So, Y.O.Y. is, you know, we really wanted to have an army. You know what I'm saying? Because we was like, okay, listen, these guys talking about they're going to do this. We got to be ready, whatever. And we were young guys. You know what I mean? So we wanted to have an army. So we started working on that whole platform. We started with same shirts and, you know, we started with fatigues, turbans, stuff like that. And the whole issue was we had the organization and the older guys didn't. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of it, though, you know, we did some good work, even though we were just in the hip hop and a lot of different things, but we did some good work. We started being secure in the camp. We would post up in front of the camp, make sure that, you know, if a stranger came, they get patted down, stuff like that, you know. But I think that those people who weren't part of us, they were jealous, you know, even in the camp. I think that a lot of people that saw that we were trying to form something, every time you try to form something, there'll always be somebody there trying to break it down. You know what I mean? So I think that as we were there, people that came through that weren't a part of it were trying to undermine it. You know what I mean? So that caused a lot of that rift too. You know what I mean? Because we took sides. We had support from certain brothers, and we didn't have support from certain brothers. You know what I'm saying? So. But as I said, I wouldn't change it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't change it, but because, you know, we were trying to build something, and, you know, it's rough. We tried to be consistent, but we were just trying to make it happen and build. Right.
Yeah. So then after St. John's and Notion, what was the journey after that?
The journey the journey was, we were back on Lincoln Place. It was like 4 of us, right? And what's weird with that was I didn't tell the brothers that, you know, because all of them were already part of Y.O.Y at that time. You know, Moray Yiftach, Samal Zakar, Chief Uriah, you know what I'm saying? The old Rocket Fatigues doing that. So I didn't pull anybody out after we left. You know, after the disagreement and we had left, I didn't pull anybody out because I was never a guy that wanted to influence people to make decisions. I wanted them to make decisions on their own. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be wrong for me to say, yo, don't go up there no more. Like, so the day that we all bailed and we wasn't there on that Shabbat, I think I was just told like, yo, your people's is upset with you, man. They you know, and they all came on the block like, yo, what happened? So, you know, we explained to them the position that we're taking, you know what I mean? And they were able to make the decision on their own, you know what I mean? So I didn't want it to be a thing where, because I never liked that in Israel. I never liked people who would try to control other people's thinking, you know what I mean? I think with me is like, you know, you learn, I can bring you here, but the relationship that you need with the Most High, you got to make that on your own, you know what I mean? And it ain't up to me to try to control the way you think and, you know, to manage your understanding. You know, I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? So even at a young age, so yeah, we were just in the wilderness for a minute. We were back in the park. We were back in Emah Sarah's basement for a minute. But a blessing came. A blessing came in the form of Maurice Burchett, which is Principal's uncle. You know, and I was there. I mean, we were just there figuring out what we were gonna do. Great elder in Israel, teacher in Israel, great pioneer in Israel, Nabi Raphael, you know, he had a place for sale. It was Old Bay Shalom. It was like one of the first places that was in Brooklyn that people were teaching out of.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had the place for sale, and it was dirt cheap. Principal's uncle, Maurice Burchett, was willing to buy it, right? For Prince. And Prince was explaining like, you know, I got people, I just left a place, you know, I need to get a place, whatever. And we had a couple of $100 from Y.O.Y events that we were doing. So we got it. He bought the place. We paid rent. It's not like he bought the place outright and we owned it, but you know, we had to pay rent, but we had a place to call our own and we worked there, open, you know, I was there often, day and night, cuts, wow. Just working. At the time, Moray O'Shea was working with us to build the place up. Yeah, we were just working tirelessly to make sure that place opened up, man, and you know, and it was a major accomplishment. And I think people were even shocked that we were able to just leave and, you know, get a place so soon. But it was the blessing of the Most High God, you know what I mean? So it was a great thing. It was a great thing. I think Shema opened his doors 1994. December 1994. Right. And that was a great thing.
That was a great thing.
Yeah.